Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Commissioner Yaz, and I'm joined by West Coast Mark, Josh Superfan, Cavalcante, and a very special guest. I'm so excited because, as you guys know, I've been going one-on-one for the past few weeks, but this is my very first one-on-one with a Bengals player. And I can't even tell you guys how fast my heart is beating. Guys, today I'm joined by cornerback Trae Waynes. Trae, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just at work taking a little break. I wanted to know, I heard just like from Twitter and some of our Bengals reporters, you're back on the rehab field, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's definitely been a process. I started running and lifting, recently, and I'm just basically taking it one day at a time, trying to do my best to, get back on the field.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, our Bengals desperately need you out on that field, and I feel like this is the perfect love story. We're ready for you to come back and just see what you can do for the team. I think that it's going to be great, and I know that fans all around the country are excited to have you back as well. I've seen your name be brought up on Twitter and stuff, and people were talking about you being back on the rehab field. We were like, yes, this is good. Hopefully, this is going to kind of give us some insight into your return schedule. Do you think that you'll be back this season?
My guess is as good as your guys' is. Unfortunately, it's not up to me that decides when I can come back or not. I got to get cleared. So, it depends on, whatever the doctors say. I can only control what I can control. And, I'm trying to, speed this process up as fast as I can, as smartly as I can. So when I do get back out there, I don't, re-injure it or, do something that causes me to miss more time than I already am.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure that as a player, it's probably frustrating because it's the game you love, but you also want to take care of your health and stuff. So we all fully support you coming back when your body is fully ready. And I'm happy to hear that you're taking it day by day. And hopefully things come sooner rather than later for you, all in good health. So I want to touch a little bit on your background. For those of you that don't know, Trae played at Michigan State and he was drafted in 2015, 11th overall by the Vikings. And I kind of want to know, obviously, I don't play football, but I do love the game and I love everything associated with it. But I want to know from your point of view, or just like a player's point of view, what it's like getting that call, like being drafted into the NFL. I know that you were sitting there with your family and I've seen the video of you getting the call, but like just what that feeling is like getting called by the Vikings, especially in the first round. That's amazing.
I would say it's honestly just like a big sigh of relief. Trying to get to this level is something everybody that plays football dreams about, and the fact that I was able to make it this far is a blessing because I mean I've been written off ever since I started playing football, either size or whatever. So the fact that this dream was actually able to come true is awesome. It's just a big sigh of relief because it's like I could really do it, and it was nice proving everybody wrong.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, speaking of you saying like you were written off and stuff, I'm sure that was frustrating, but it's always awesome
It's
to be
part of the
able to prove
game.
people
I mean,
wrong.
you always
Yeah.
got your couch quarterbacks that, have their opinions on, how, each position should be played. And, half the time, none of them ever, suited up in their life or all they did was play high school football. So, I mean, you're always going to have somebody who has an opinion on you.
Yeah.
Even some coaches, but thankfully, those aren't the people that draft you or decide who drafts you. It's you and how you perform.
Yeah. Totally. You're speaking my language now because I always say I don't try to talk about X's and O's on Twitter. I just call what I see, and usually I just talk about sarcastic, funny things because I'm like, hey, I've never been out on that field. I'm not going to act like I know what's supposed to be going on. So you're speaking my language, but we did a deep dive into particular games that you've played in the past.
Yeah, so Trae, we did a dive into your career, your illustrious football career. We picked out 3 games from the 3 different levels, one from high school, one from college, one from the professional level. And we wanted you to kind of tell us, what did each of these games mean to you at those points in your career? The first one is in high school. It's your junior year, number 1 versus number 2. Your Bradford Red Devils taking on the Marquette Hilltoppers. You're in front of 11,000 fans at Lafayette Stadium. A teammate, Melvin Gordon, rushes 12 times for 100 yards. He doesn't even lead your team in carries in that game. It was a massive game. massive implications. How did that game affect your football career?
Honestly, that was probably the funnest game I've ever played in. Just because at the time, when you're in high school, there's not so much, politics involved and, all that other, shit that people deal with when it comes to playing football at a higher level. That game was just, a bunch of, Wisconsin boys kicking each other's ass for, however many minutes on the field. And like, it wasn't so much of a, like, obviously, like the game, you have your game plan and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we were both old school, football teams where, we ran the ball. So it's just going to be, our best versus your best, and, whoever wins is going to win. And yeah, that was probably one of the funnest games I ever played, and if not the funnest. And the atmosphere was insane too. So I mean, that was the state game. I mean, obviously you did your research, but that was the state game. Everybody considered it to be, and whoever won that game was going to win state. And sure enough, that's what they did. And the team they beat in state was a team we destroyed, in the beginning of the season. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think that it's also very special that you played with Melvin Gordon. Look at you two, came out of there and into the NFL.
Yeah, that's an awesome
cool story.
Next level, we move on to your college career. It's 2014. It's the 100th Rose Bowl. 64,500 fans are in Pasadena to see you and your Michigan State Spartans take on the Stanford Cardinal. On their first drive of the second half, you pick off a Kevin Hogan pass with the game tied 17-17. You guys would go on to win that game 24-20. Big time moment on a big time stage. What did that moment mean to you?
I mean, it's cool. Honestly, I don't remember that much from the game. I would say just because, I mean, a lot of it was a blur, the atmosphere, that kind of a game, the fact that it's in California, in that stadium, it was awesome. I remember the trip as a whole just being a great experience. The game, honestly, I don't remember too much about it. I remember it, but I don't nothing really crazy sticks out to me. Yeah, the interception was cool. One of the plays that probably sticks out the most, they ran, it was either a fake or it was a missed snap field goal or extra point or whatever. And, I didn't make the play when I, should have. I think that sticks out the most. But, overall, the game was just crazy. I think everything just overshadowed by, the last play of the game where Darian and, Kyler jumped over the line to make that fourth down stop to end the game. So I think everything is overshadowed by, that crazy scene. Because after that, I just kind of blacked out once we won the game. Like, it was just a shit show from, all the promotion.
Yeah, I bet. It's always interesting to hear athlete's perspective. They always remember those plays that they didn't make versus the ones that they did make. So that was interesting that you said that. Moving on to the professional level, everybody knows about this game. 2018 playoffs, Minneapolis Miracle, packed house, 14 seconds on the clock. Your quarterback, Case Keenum, enters the huddle, calls Buffalo right, 7 heaven, and we all know what happens next. Your viewpoint was from the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
How was that play, and what were your emotions before, during, and after that crazy game?
That shit was weird. I mean, I thought defensively we played a pretty good game. So sitting on the sideline, I was like, all right, defense, we did pretty good. So, I mean, even if the game doesn't go our way, I thought we played pretty well, so we don't have much to hang our head on, Now, as we were sitting on the bench, I was like, all right, well, as I'm sure everybody else in the world thought, like, it's over, So I'm thinking, I was like, oh, well, shit. Looks like I'll be, booking a flight to, Florida or whatever I'm going, in the off-season training and stuff like that. So, that was kind of my mindset. I remember talking about it with, one of my good friends, Marcus Sherrills, because, we're both on the sideline. It's like, oh, well, where are you going this offseason? Because, I mean, you get down depressed. It's like, damn. And then it's like, well, okay. But, I mean, obviously, we're still, in the game watching. But, when it happened, it was like kind of like shocked. Like, wait, did this happen? Like, did this just happen? And then, it happened. Then it's like, shit, it happened. And it's like, is there any flags on the field? There's no flags. I mean, because it always happens. There's a crazy play, and then there's a flag, out of nowhere. So, I had to make sure there's no flags. And then once they actually signaled it, everybody was like, oh, damn. So then we all just started, celebrating. And I don't think it really hit a lot of us until, we got in the locker room. Because it was, so much commotion, so crazy. Kind of like the last Saints game. we played last year in the playoffs, how Rudy caught that touchdown pass. Like, that was even weirder because, like, the whole stadium went silent. Because we saw it, we're like, oh, damn, he's going to get a push-off. He's not going to, whatever. But nothing was called. So it was kind of like that, but instead of the whole stadium going silent, the whole stadium erupted, and then it was just chaos after that.
That's awesome. I wish there would have been another push-off not called in week 1 of this season, but
Yeah,
that call didn't go our way.
2020.
Yeah, those were awesome stories, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was incredible. I also wish that push-off wasn't called, and I'll continue to say that for the rest of the season. But moving
But
on,
one
you
time
talked
they actually
about,
call it.
yeah, I'm not even going to get started on how I feel about that game. But anybody that follows me on Twitter, y'all know that I always I'll retweet that video of AJ catching that touchdown over and over, like every few weeks, and I'm like, this was a touchdown, and I just love to get Twitter riled up about that one. But I want to know more about you, as in, like, my mission as Commissioner Yaz has kind of been like looking at football in a new angle. I want to know who the players are. I obviously love the game, but I want to know who you are off the field, your background, kind of like what your favorite music is, your favorite food, hobbies, stuff like that. Just because I feel like a lot of people look at players as just athletes, which is incredible, but there's so much more to you guys. And I just, if you allow me to get to know you, I'd love to know what your hobbies are outside of football. I guess right now you may have a little bit more time to find yourself. Do you like video games, or I know we can touch on hunting in a little bit, but what kind of, who is Trae?
Trae's a normal fucking person. Who just
We
happens
love
to
it.
be, who happens just to play football. You know, I mean, I think a lot of people forget that. You know, because I know we get put on pedestals and all that shit. But at the end of the day, you know, we're normal people just like everybody else. Like, I didn't, you know, grow up being a superstar athlete. You know, I had to, you know, bust my ass to get where I am today. And you know, I'm not genetically gifted at, you know, 6'6", 245, you know, running 4.4s, you know. So yeah, I mean, I had to, you know, work my ass off just to get to where I am. And, you know, it's,
I love listening to the guy that runs a 4.3 240 at the combine saying I'm not genetically gifted. My goodness.
well, I mean, you know, I mean, I would say I was blessed with parents that, you know, were both track stars, but I mean, you know, I was the only kid that, well, I mean, I have a brother, but, you know, I'm basically the only one in the family that didn't major in, you know, track and field. You know, I fell in love with football at a young age, and, you know, basically it came down to football and baseball. And, you know, my high school coach actually came to me and asked, like, when I'm going to take, you know, baseball serious, because I was like, well, what do you mean, coach? Like, I'm here every day. I'm, you know, practicing. I'm doing what I need to do. He's like, well, yeah, but you have the potential to get drafted. And, you know, if you allow me to work with you, you know, a little more, that could probably happen. And at that point, I was already committed to playing football at Michigan State. No, but I mean, I grew up playing sports as a kid. You know, my hobbies right now, I mean, I love playing video games. You know, that's something that kind of helps me get away from the game. With football being, you know, our job, I don't think people realize how much time, you know, we really put into it. For me, it's different right now because, you know, I'm hurt and can't do shit. But, you know, a normal day, like, you know, I wake up probably, you know, 6, you know, going to work. I probably wouldn't get home. Well, normal when I'm saying not with all this COVID crap going on.
Yeah.
Because now, you know, precautions are being taken. But, you know, I wouldn't get home till 5:30, and then I get home, probably relax for maybe an hour, you know, eat dinner, film study, and then I go to bed and do it all over again. So, I mean, I don't, you know, as an athlete or, you know, a football player, depending on, you know, how serious you take, you don't really have a lot of off time during the season. And, it's, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, having kids and, you know, family and stuff like that, because they really don't see you. I mean, so I guess that would be probably, you know, a blessing from all this. You know, I actually got to be around my kids a lot more. And I remember telling my wife I didn't want any more kids until after I retired, because I was always gone so much. And, you know, I missed everything. I missed birthdays. I missed holidays. I missed trick-or-treating, like all the, you know, the fun stuff, you know, the first steps, the first words. And, you know, we ended up having our second daughter. And then, you know, ironically, I got hurt, you know, in the beginning of the season. So, I mean, that's probably, you know, the one good thing I can tell you about this, you know, injury, is the fact that I actually got to be around my kids a lot more, you know, and experience some of the things I missed out on. But, you know, I love, you know, being outdoors. You know, I try to, you know, after the season, I try to get away from it, you know, as much as possible, or, when I'm not at work, I try to, do something to take my focus off it. I don't really watch football. Well, I do now because I'm not playing, but, I never watch football, on Sundays or Saturdays because, I'm working, I'm studying, I'm doing other stuff.
That was something I thought was amazing is free agency opens up this offseason. You sign a 3-year monster killer deal, and that's not even the biggest thing that happens to you that week.
Right. I mean, yeah, it was weird times. I mean, just because, that's when COVID was starting to take off, and, every time I had, like, I would leave the hospital to, like, either talk with my agent or get food or something, but, it got to a point where they're like, all right, you can't leave anymore because, the hospital's going on lockdown and stuff like that. So, like, that whole scenario was just very weird.
That's wild. So you talked about your daughter and your wife, and I was on the Homegrown Outfitters website earlier, which is actually the business that Trae and his wife own for everybody listening. And we're going to get into that a little bit, but I was on the website and there's a tab that talks about the team, and I was just reading about everybody, and the biography, like description part about your wife was awesome. Like it was just like basically handing her the credit for just being an awesome human and running that business, and it like warmed my heart when I was reading it because I was like, it just shows that they have like a really good thing going over there, and that, congratulations on your second daughter and stuff. That's awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Homegrown Outfitters and kind of how that started and what it is?
Yeah, so basically for those who don't know what an outfitting business is we sell and guide hunts, on property that we own. We're really different from everybody else. And, basically we're redefining the outfitting business and what we're doing. And it's going great. It's actually going way better than expected. It sounds crazy to say this, but we're sold out through 2023 just because of how we're doing everything. And, we own a couple thousand acres in Buffalo County, Wisconsin, which is like the mecca if you know anything about hunting for whitetail hunting. And we also have a land management business to where, we renovate the properties and we improve them, and, we make it so we hold and, keep, big deer. And, what's different from us, we don't cycle, hunters in and out. We go a week on, a week off, a week on, a week off. So we don't overpressure and, scare a lot of the deer away. And, we don't shoot anything, below 4 years or 5 years. If you're into hunting, and you're looking for something that's changing the game, I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your ass, but, we really are doing something different in the industry, and, our progress is showing.
Yeah, I'll tell you, for the uninitiated that aren't familiar with what goes on, and Trae, this is what really sets you guys apart. Not only do you attack this from the conservationist end, but you own the land that you're guiding hunts on. And that is so different than anybody else, where you don't have a lease on land and you're hunting over soybean and crop rotations. You've got alfalfa, you've got sweet peas, Russian ryegrass. I mean, you've got the premier plots for exactly what you're looking for.
We got watering holes, we got all that. And like you mentioned, the thing that separates us from, other outfitters is they don't own it. And you're not going to improve something you don't own because you won't see the value in it, And, our value is not only going up in our properties, but, the quality of deer that we have in our property shows as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I actually looked on there to book a hunt, and just as you were saying, I don't have a calendar that goes out to 2024 to tell you if I got a free weekend. I thought, holy cow.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's great because we've had, I'd say, we're actually starting another camp this coming Friday, but the feedback we're getting from all our clients is amazing. I'm not gonna say any names, but we've had some very, very high successful guys, come into camp, do very, very well for themselves. And feedback they're giving us, like some of them have texted me saying, because we give all our clients chances, first dibs and returning the following year.
Sure.
And every single person we've had so far, they're booking the following year. And some of them have said, I'm coming here till they put me in the grave. And hearing that as an owner is like, wow, that's awesome. Because that's great to hear. And a lot of them are like that. And their reactions when they first come to camp, and, even if they don't end up killing a deer, the reactions leaving, one guy, he left and he was, on the road for an hour, and he's texting me saying, I'm already homesick of Homegrown. I'm already missing it, and I just left. So what we're doing is really special. And, it's awesome to see how everybody, is having such a good time there.
Well, as a transplanted Midwest kid, born and raised in Iowa, the only thing I'd ask from you is, could you please put those cutty back cameras on a live stream for me?
That's
definitely
awesome.
something to look at.
We're just over here adding more things to your business. So let us know if you need more ideas for West Coast Mark, because he has them all. So I also wanted to touch on everybody listening. On the Homegrown website, you can purchase a cancer awareness hoodie, and proceeds from those sales will go directly to benefit a family that has been affected by cancer in a form of a special hunt giveaway. So Trae, I want to know, have you guys already, well, first of all, let me just say that this business that you're running is incredible. Like, you're getting good feedback, you're booked through 2023, all these things that you're saying, and then you're also looking to give back and do charitable things, which is just incredible. So hats off to you guys, because I just love what you're doing there. But have you been able to already give back to a family? I know that you just put these on sale recently, so I wasn't sure if you guys have already gone through it yet, or if you have, I would love to hear the story.
So, it was kind of random. I was driving, because we've done, giveaways and stuff like that, but I always kind of wanted to do something different and like special, and this would be a cool platform to do it. And I was like, well, why don't we do something that really, makes a difference? And like, I didn't want to just be the, typical donate money to, some whatever cancer research thing that, you don't know where the money really goes. You don't know what they're really doing with it. Cause like, my thing is like, how many billions of dollars have been donated to cancer and there's not a cure, you know what I'm saying? So I'd rather do something that creates experiences and memories rather than just throwing my money somewhere where someone's just telling me where it may or may not be going. And, that's where the idea came from, because, we've had some guys before that tried booking hunts with like health issues, and it really humbled me, because one of the guys, he had said he had a condition and booking a hunt with us would be like a dream. And, one of the things he had said was, it's not a money issue, it's a time issue. Oh, wow. Which meant like, he can afford it, he can afford, 1,000 hunts, but he didn't know how much time he had left, and I was like, damn, I was like, that's, that hit different. And, I was like, well, why don't we do something that, helps bring awareness to all cancer, not just one cancer, like just specifically like breast cancer or whatever. Because, everybody, in this world in today's age has been affected by cancer somehow. I know I lost a family member I was really close to, to cancer. My wife, she has family members that, have it. And I was like, I really want to do something that will mean a lot more than just here's some money, and, that's where the idea of the hoodies came about. And it was designed, to highlight every single cancer. And, it has all the colored ribbons that, that an individual is cancer. And then in the middle is a lavender one that stands for cancer as a whole. Proceeds from that will go to sponsoring a hunt. We're still working on, how we're going to pick somebody for that. We want to make it legit. We want to make it, a special experience. And, we'd have them and their family come so they can enjoy it with them. Because dealing with something like that, you don't want to do it alone. You want your family there. And how we'd have it set up, we'd have them, on their own private week or couple of days, however long we decide, them and their family at the lodge. We're starting a YouTube channel as well. So we'd have, them being filmed, by themselves. It'll basically be a special week for them and their family, get it all on camera, and just make it the best weekend of their life. And, try to create memories off of that.
Knock out a bucket list for them for sure.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, that is really special. And I love that you guys thought of that idea, and hopefully we can see that be carried out. I'm happy that you are going to showcase it on YouTube and be able to have that experience for a family. I think that experiences, like you said, are always so much more important than the money. And I'm really looking forward to that. I got the chills when you were telling me that story because I'm excited for that. So everybody, look out for these hoodies. I will tweet out the link so you guys can purchase one. There are limited quantities, so get on it. And we may or may not have a few to give away. So stay tuned for that. And I don't want to jump off the topic too quickly, but you were talking about experiences, and the reason I became a Bengals fan, I actually live in California and have only been to Cincinnati once in my life. But anybody that is listening to this can vouch for me. I am a diehard and have been for many, many, many years. And it happened with me because of an experience. I basically got to meet Chad Ochocinco back when I was a little girl, and he just like, I was at lunch
Great
with
guy.
him, and he was just incredible to me, and it just stuck in my head, and I was like, I will ride this Bengals wagon until the end of time. And so that's why I'm a Bengals fan. A little bird told me that for a couple of years the Bengals were your favorite team, so I want to know, how did that happen?
Yeah, it's actually funny you bring that up, because when I signed here, a couple of my friends from, growing up, they actually brought it up, like, hey, like, it's your favorite team, or like, and yeah, I really did like them. I actually did a mission trip out here when I was younger, with our church. We were out here for, a week or two, and I helped like build some, homes around the area. We had ended up going to the Reds game, and it's right across the street from the stadium. You can see it. And then we did something where I ended up taking, pictures with like Bengals cheerleaders or something. I don't know, but after that trip, I had such an awesome time. I was like, wow, like, this is, an awesome city. The football team's awesome. Their baseball team's awesome. Like, it's something I can get behind. So I think that's how it really started.
The helmets are awesome.
Yeah, the helmets, color is cool. So.
Yeah, the helmets. Everybody, half the time I ask people why you're a Bengals fan, they're like, well, when I was 12, I really liked the helmets. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good. Do you have a specific Bengals player from the past or from when you were growing up that it was your favorite, or even just before you joined the Bengals?
There's a lot. You have Cedric, you have Ray, you have Chad. See, that's kind of why after I started liking the Bengals, like, I kind of like just went from having a favorite team to like just having, like, 'cause it was too hard to just have a favorite team because I like so many different players,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, I like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis on this team, and then I like, Brett Favre and, Reggie White. And so it's like, you know what? Having one team is just too hard because I like so many players. And, since I, played football and, I watched every Sunday, I'd watch, how many games they showed on Sundays. So it's like every different game I'm watching, a different player. So it's really hard to just, at that young age, just, be for one team.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. I do that now. Well, no, the Bengals are my team through and through, but I do have favorite players on other teams. DK Metcalf. People like to come after me, but you know what? It is what it is.
Right.
So you mentioned that you don't really watch football, obviously, because you are so busy, but I feel like there's probably a very unique experience with that this season. Do you get to watch the games from home, or are you on the field since you are on IR? How does that work?
Yeah, so with this COVID crap, like, I can't even go to the game, just
Oh, wow.
because teams are limited, like, amount of people they can have on the sideline. So I haven't, even been able to go to a game. So I just watch them from home. And, it's weird, waking up, on your own time on Sunday, not, going through this game day routine and just, patiently waiting for Sunday football. And wherever I'm at, like, the service is ass because I only get 2 games. Like, I'll get us in Cleveland. And I'm like, well, I have a lot of friends that play, and like, I want to watch
I
other
wanna
games
watch
in Cleveland. But like, I just take what I can get. But I always look forward to watching us play, and I'm always locked in when we're on. And but it's definitely a different experience because I was telling my buddy the other day, I was like, dude, like, I'm not used to doing absolutely nothing. Like, it feels so out of place. And even like if I was like injured in the past, like, I'd still be on the sideline, and
Yeah.
I'd still feel like, a part of the team or like something. But, I haven't been able to do anything, since I've been here. And it's been a very weird experience just because, I'm not used to it. If I was hurt in the past, like, it was happened midway through the season, or, it was only like a week or two, but not being able to do anything, from the jump has just been, kind of a shitty experience. But
Yeah, I have a question for you, which you don't have to answer this, but I'm kind of laughing thinking about it. So DJ Reader loves to tweet during the games, and I
Hmm.
very much look forward to seeing his game day tweets. And I try to stay off, but sometimes I get angry. But do you ever have a like crazy reaction to the game when you're watching it from home and you want to say something so badly, but you're like, maybe I should bite my tongue on this one? Like, a call was bullshit, but you're like, do you ever have that contradiction within yourself?
Yeah. I kind of. It's funny you say that because I used to do that a lot. Well, not. I had like a stint where I did it in college, and my D coordinator saw it, and he kind of like let me have it. He's like, I had to take that shit off, and whatever. But after that, it was kind of like an eye-opening experience. It's like, who am I to comment on somebody that is doing something I can't or I'm not doing myself? So it's like, ever since then I've kind of been like that. Like, I'm not gonna go, say, LeBron James' ass. So, like, I look like an idiot saying that, like I could never, play basketball how he plays basketball. Like, that's just stupid. And it kind of bothers me when I go on social media and see that, because it's like, well, how are you going to critique somebody on something that you can't do yourself? So like that's kind of like always been my thing. And with your comment, like with if it was a dumb call or if it, whatever, like, like I'm going to have my opinion, but at the end of the day, like, my opinion doesn't matter because, the call was made and there's nothing I can do to change about it. Like, because I know he's like, as much as it sucks to say, and I wish we didn't get that call with like AJ, like, I'm not going to say anything about it because, like, as a DB, I'm like, oh, wow, they actually called that? Because, like, I've been on the other end. It's like, they never call that.
Very true.
So it's like, well, damn, I wish they didn't call it because, like, I want to win. But at the same time, it's like, oh, are they actually going to start paying attention to that? Because, I mean, the NFL, like, it's an offensive league. So defense is never going to get a call, very rarely. And I was like, wow, they actually called that? So I could kind of see it both ways. But, I mean, obviously, since I play on the Bengals, I was like, damn, of course they call it at the worst time. But, so I try to stay out of it. I think the only recent thing I've said on, Twitter was saying Madden was ass when they rated the speed. They gave me like a 93 speed. I'm like, all right, you guys are, I think that was my only outburst at that. But then again, it's Madden, so it is what it is. But I mean, I try to keep my opinions to myself, just because, like I said, unless I'm doing or I've done better than the person I'm speaking on, I try not to say it because it doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, that's just me personally. So I try to, keep my opinions to myself unless, I can, do it better or am doing it in a similar position.
Except for field goal kickers.
Well, I mean,
no,
that's a hard job. I mean, but my thing is, I mean, that's your only job, so I mean, you should be pretty good at it. So
you have one job.
I mean, it's not like you have to snap it, hold it, and kick it. You just have to kick it. But I mean, I know it can't be an easy thing to do, honestly, especially when it's a really crazy game. The pressure's on. That's tough.
So for everybody listening, we always say on here, player slander is not appreciated, and Trae just confirmed it. And like he just said, if you're not playing the game, then you know what? You probably should not be commenting on it. So thank you for that.
How is a person working at McDonald's going to tell me, I cover somebody, incorrectly? Well, don't do it. I've had my back and forth thing, and it's funny to see it because, like, I've had people, talk shit about me and my teammates, and, my response is, well, come take my job. It's open. Like,
I'll throw this out there to all our listeners. Trae, will you promise not to tell anybody how to operate a forklift? And then everybody else keep their mouth shut about how to play corner.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, like, when you, kind of call people out, then they want to, like, switch up and be your friend. So it's like, no.
Oops.
Like, when I was leaving Minnesota, like, I had some people message me. I was like, well, take my spot. Like, or do something. But, like, the spot's open because I'm leaving. And they're like, oh, well, where are you going? Why the f*** you care? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it doesn't work.
None of your business.
Yeah, like, leave me alone.
Yeah, for real. I feel for y'all sometimes because I'll read what people are saying, and somebody had some idiot comment to Joe Mixon today that he posted on his Instagram, and I was just like, yeah, that guy's off his rocker. Who cares what he has to say? I just have two final questions for you. The first one is, obviously, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. We had the first pick in the NFL draft, and we took Joe Burrow, who
Mhm.
has been playing incredible this season. And I just want to know, what are your thoughts on him? Are you excited to get out on the field and join this team? Especially, he comes off as such a great leader on the field and off the field. What are your thoughts on Joe Burrow?
I mean, just from what I've been able to see on the games, like, because, when I'm in the facility, like, especially now, they have us come in at, like, separate times. And then, so I really don't get to interact with, many guys on the offense because they have us coming in at different times. But, from the brief moments I had with him and, from what I've seen before, we went in this crazy lockdown and watching him play, like, he's a gamer. And, this is only his first year, so you can only imagine him in a couple years with the wide receiver group that we have as their chemistry builds, and we continue to get better. Just the impact he'll have.
I agree with you. I'm so excited just to see what comes of this team in the next couple seasons, especially like you said, COVID kind of has been ruining everything, and then just the fact that everything is different right now, and him like not even getting to practice beforehand with some of the wide receivers, and it felt like not having a preseason really did affect us, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. I feel like this season, obviously, we're still building and we're going to get there eventually, but I'm very excited about Joe Burrow. You mentioned that you come in at different times, but is there anybody on the team that you've been able to get close with, or that like you feel is going to be your boy in Cincy as of right now?
I mean, Mac, obviously, we came from Minnesota together, and our lockers are right by each other, so that's the easy one. But, I would say a lot of guys on defense, because that's who, I'm around the most. And, that's how I was in Minnesota. Like, those are the guys I'm around all the time in meetings and on the field. So, of course, the DBs, I'm with them the most. But, a lot of guys like Josh and, Jesse and, the rest of those guys, like guys that, my locker's near as well. So I would just say there's not just one person I can pick out.
Trae, do you see yourself taking on the role that kind of like Terrence Newman took you under his wing and took Mac under his wing as well? Do you see yourself in that type of a position with some of the younger cornerbacks that are on the team now?
I mean, I'll try to. Like, I'm not gonna like tell somebody like, leave me alone. Like, I can't help you. I'm gonna obviously do my best to, coach and help answer any questions I have. With Terrence, I would say it's a little different. He was in the same system, his whole career. He was in Dallas, and he went to Cincy and then Minnesota, and they all pretty much had the same, defensive coach or DB coach. So, there are little, tweaks, coming from here than when I was in Minnesota. So, I'll do my best, to answer, questions or, from the younger guys as I can. But, I'm still kind of learning myself, this new system. And, it's kind of harder for me now because, I'm an in-person learner. Like, I need to go through it. I need to do it, to really understand it. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that from being out for so long. I was having a really good start, I felt like, to understanding everything. And then, this freak injury happened. So I think that kind of set me back. But yeah, I'm going to try to help people as much as I can.
Yeah, it's hard to get the mistakes under your belt that help you learn.
Yeah, it's hard to learn something over a Zoom call. So
right.
I believe it. Well, hey, listen, we are so excited that you're starting to get better, and I can't wait to see you out on that field. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm very proud of you being a Cincinnati Bengal because you are an amazing human on and off the field. So, hey, thank you again for giving us your time. You are my first player interview, which I really appreciate, and I hope that you enjoyed this as well. Take care and keep getting better. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.